So I guess my parts wanted to ask, but I'm going to make sure the question's right. Um, what guides have to say in relation to any burdens and our beliefs that are like preventing them or the system from being fearless?
And you said preventing your system from what?
Oh, from being fearless and like
Ooh.
courageous.
Okay, they're already starting to answer. They're saying fearless and courageous are not the same thing.
Okay.
They're saying the courage acknowledges the fear. So the courage acknowledges the fear and knows what the most important response is, both to the fear itself and whatever it is that is causing the fear, leading to the fear that is opening up the fear to express itself. That opens up the part that is expressing its own fear.
Okay.
Okay, they're talking about fear now. Okay, so for you, they're talking about there's fear based in both past and present life. So present life burdens and past life burdens. And they're talking about starting with the present life burdens first. What are you saying around this? They're talking about how oftentimes people feel like believe that clearing up the past life burdens will clear up the present life burdens, and they're saying it's not always that way. Sometimes the present life burdens are what is keeping the past life burdens stuck,
Ah,
preventing it from clearing up. Okay. Okay, so they're talking about spending time going inside and asking, when was I most afraid in this lifetime? And getting to know the parts around that. And then when you've gotten to know those parts and you feel comfortable enough with those parts, like there's enough of a relationship there, like you've gotten to know each other and it feels comfortable enough. Then you ask, what was a moment that was even more terrifying than that? And they're talking about like even just a little bit more scary than that, a little more fearful than that. And getting to know the parts around that. And then moving on to the next one and the next one and the next one. And they're not even saying like healing the exiles that are holding the fears or doing that. They're just talking about getting to know the parts that come up regardless of whether or not they're protectors or exiles, as all the parts feel safe to do so. And then move on to the next one and the next one and the next one. And then they're saying when you have enough of them that feel good, when you've gone to a depth that feels right to you, because again, you're going to a little bit more fear, deeper fear, right? And when you've gone to a depth that feels good for you, and of course, they're saying, both you as in self, but also the parts that you've met along the way. And they're saying, get them all together on this. And then ask them that they're open to doing the deeper healing on all of these. And then work with them until they are ready for that. And they're saying some will be ready right away. Some will need some time. And that is perfectly okay. And then they're saying release them as they all agree upon. yeah, get together with them and ask them what they need in the process of releasing. They're saying how and when do they need it done? Like they're talking about like maybe these two fears need to go together, and that's what the group agrees on, you know, like they're talking about the individual parts holding them. It may be like they're showing me like two kids that are holding hands, and I can see that fear that's just held in each of them, and they're holding hands and they're saying we need to do this together. And you're seeing like all these other parts around them and they're going, yeah, yeah, they need to do it together. That's what we need. And there's a bunch of parts out here and they're just kind of like, whatever, that's fine, we don't really care, right? They're okay with that. And any, like, I'm noticing like there's like a maybe a thinking part, you know, that has a concern, so it's asking questions and stuff like that. So you're just addressing any parts that come in, right, and everyone's good with that, and so those go together. And then again, they're showing like someone just might need their own individual time in the spotlight. You know, that's just what that individual needs, and that's how it's going to go. And again, you work with all the parts with questions or concerns around it. And if there are none, great. Um, and then you might have a group of parts that they're like they're just ready to let it go, they're just ready and done, and they're just happy to get it done. They're saying just check in with them all and see what it is that they need to get the good you know, amount of this that feels good to you, and then do that. Okay, now they're coming to this past life stuff. You're saying when you clear it, so this is all the present life stuff. When you clear it, whether you're doing it with those two parts together or the one individual or the smaller group that was together that I saw, when you do that, have the intention to release any past life energy that can go with it. Just have that intention to release any past life energy that can go with it. Just request for it to go. Just have that intention, and what can be released will be released with it. And they're just saying it just will. It is so. Yeah, they're really emphasizing it will be released. It will be released. It will be released. Yeah, and they're just pausing there.
Wow, thank you. Oh my God. Thank you so very much. My parts weren't anticipating all of that. So parts like Jesus Christ, right? It was like, wow, no, thank you so much. Yeah, like it's interesting because I've got like I don't kind of go too much into this, but I've got like a lot of Capricorn in my system, which is like my parts are very thorough and intense, and other parts want a break from that. But so it's interesting that we're getting this because they're like, oh, because some parts got a sense of that, like we were taking too long, we're supposed to speed up, and some parts are getting impatient. So it's interesting because I do like a lot of work with my guides, but my protectors just like locked my system out. So they were like let's just like see like what self. So that was very insightful and very unexpected. And okay, so yeah, so I guess they're being asked to not concern themselves with how much time they're spending on it, which is interesting. Okay. Wow. Yeah, like, thank you. And I guess like I just trust that like I guess like the direction for that because that's very convoluted, but I know the divine always has a way. So I guess parts are trusting that like the pieces for that will come because parts are like, that's a lot, a heck of a lot, even for my Capricorn to do that. This is like and I've also sort of been trying to step back from like that Capricorn as well. That's just like, okay, 100 knots all the time. Like, let's just everyone go in. So yeah, so I trust all that. I guess like just as like like a quick follow-up question, is there anything in terms of support with that process that I should be turning towards or my part should be turning towards? Yeah, because they were kind of floating a bit in terms of like whether to go with hypnotherapy. Because obviously I guess like I have a Libra part that's kind of aware of like time and stuff. So, but if they have like a quick direction or just something that they would want to point me towards, because parts have all
To,
these questions. Sorry, yeah, as in like with that process, is there a direction or a resource that they would point my parts towards to begin with that, or like to support us in that? Because they've been getting really overwhelmed lately, and this managerial part's like, hang on, like let's just see if the guys have something, um, yeah, like a kind of a bit substantive in terms of where we could go and what to do. So it's not just us.
okay, what do you want to say to this? They're saying to ask your guides to steer you in the direction that is for your highest good. And when they're saying the highest good of you, they're saying the highest good of all your parts. And they're kind of showing, can you make this a little more clear for me? They're saying some parts will need certain ways or would benefit from certain ways. Other parts will benefit or need other ways. Um, they're saying there is no one recipe for all of your parts. They're saying to ask your guides to lead you to the right recipe for the right parts, and it will be done. And again, they're saying it will be done. It will be
Okay.
done. It will be done. It will be done.
Okay. Okay, that's that. I mean, that's been helpful for some like managerial parts. Then we can just like direct that question and pull cards and just really take our time. Sometimes it feels scattered, so that's helpful that there's no yeah, that the recipe is chaotic. So just trust like the chaos in a sense. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank
That was
you. That's a good way to put it. Trust the chaos.
yeah, yeah. Like it's weird. Like that was kind of perfect in a sense because it's been like really reaffirming exactly what we needed. Even though it was intense. Yeah, like thank you so much for that. Like that was just thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.